Going strong for the markets at the high point of the day. Sensex up nearly 335 points. Infosys HDFC Limited leading from the front. But the stock which is on our radar right now is Castrol India. The company's reported a good set of earnings, an all-round beat in fact. We're now joined by Omer Dorman, the MD of the company. Mr. Dorman, thanks so much for joining in. While you have ended the year with a volume growth of 4.4%, if I purely look at the December quarter, the volumes have actually declined on a year-on-year basis. And we are seeing stress in the automotive vehicle, especially the commercial vehicle space. So therefore, how do you see the volumes play out?
Thank you. Good morning. First of all, as you said, we're really happy with the volume, the third year that we've been seeing volume growth. Q4 was under a bit of a headwind because we had two price increases in the quarter three, which was actually increasing our premium position in the marketplace. And as you rightly said, we also saw some softening of the demand in the market. Actually, Q4 2017 was already high, so retaining the volume at the Q4 level of 2017 and delivering margin growth was, I think it's an exceptional result, considering that it was also a soft market.
All right, you said, you saw some stress in the demand side on account of some price hikes, but remember the last 3 years you have been delivering positive volume growth. So the base for the next couple of years increases. What sort of numbers would you project for yourself for the next 2 years in terms of volume growth and price growth?
So if I can sort of break it down into two chunks. One is, of course, the retail piece, which is where we've been really focusing on investing. So in 2018, we introduced a set of new products. This is investment in our technology. And 80% of that volume growth came from the new products that we've introduced. We expanded our distribution. We now reach 150,000 touch points. And we continue investing into mechanic advocacy and behind brands. So we are really continue to be optimistic because if you look at 2018, 7% of the growth came from retail channel, where the B2B side of the business has been flat. And retail is about 70% of our business. We expect continued growth in 2019. In Q4 as well, we saw power brands continue growing, our retail volumes are growing, and we expect that in 2019 we will grow ahead of the market. We expect market to grow between 2 to 4% over the next 5 years, and we expect Castrol to grow around 5% without compromising on the quality of earnings or the unit margin.
Okay, so volume growth of 5% in the coming years. You said that Q4 volumes were impacted on account of price hikes, and you took 2 of them in Q3. Now, considering that crude prices have actually cooled off, is there any reason for you to reverse the price hikes and boost your volumes?
So as I said, we will not compromise on the quality of earnings, but we will not also look at just quality of earnings. We are looking for profitable volume growth. So if the market is coming back in terms of input costs, of course we will respond to that, like we responded to input cost increases. So we will respond to the market, maintaining our unit margin at the levels that we feel appropriate. And the unit margin growth will come from the new products that we're introducing, the product mix, especially the higher end, the synthetics and the thinner rolls.
A couple of questions there then. What is the unit level margin that you feel is appropriate? And secondly, how much of your retail revenue comes from passenger vehicle? How much of that comes from commercial vehicle? Is there a margin differential there?
So actually, if you look at the last decade, the company has, the profile of the volume has changed considerably. We used to be a commercial heavy business. Now we've become equally strong in personal mobility, and that's been our strategy over the last 10 years, to invest ahead of the market, to build that market. So we see continuous growth coming from personal mobility space, two-wheelers as well as the four-wheelers, the car space as well as the bike space. And we expect that market to grow about 5 to 6%, and we'll grow ahead of that in our projection. And that's why, if you've noticed, we've now approved expansion into Silvassa plant to be ready for that volume, which is coming from the smaller markets, smaller packs, as well as the power brands.
What's the revenue breakup you said between commercial, passenger and two-wheelers?
So I would say personal mobility and commercial now are equal in terms of their weight in our retail portfolio, which is about 70% of our total business.
Mr. Dorman, run out of time, unfortunately. We'd like to continue this conversation another day, but thanks again for joining in, and all the very best. So Castrol confident of outpacing the industry growth, so they should see a volume growth of close to about 5%. Get into a break. We'll come back and address the market technicals with Ashwini Gujral. Stay
holding above yesterday's high on an expiry day. The put writers are smelling an opportunity. 10,700 put has added close to around 25-26 lakh shares on the expiry day. Bulls believe that this is a mark they can defend, 10,700. In fact, let's just pose that question to Ashwini himself, who joins us for a quick check on the markets and with his picks. Ashwini, do you think 10,700 can hold?
Well, we seem to be now moving forward from 10,700. The other thing is that a lot of tomorrow's event is probably priced in, and the market could be looking for a 100-120 style, pullback rally. So that way, we had two narrow range days between 10,600-700, and now we are trying to move forward from 10,700. Plus, you have HDFC Bank, which haven't done a whole lot. In fact, have gone down for last 5-6 sessions. So some amount of short covering can also happen. So my sense is that because global cues are positive and the market is a bit short, maybe by end of the day, you could have a serious rally.
Okay, and what about the picks that you're recommending?
See, ICICI Bank is a sell with a stop of 372, target of 358. Indigo is a sell with a stop of 1170, target of 1120. And GAIL is a buy with a stop of 325, target of 341.
Right, Ashwini, you spoke about a serious rally, but at the higher end, say 10,780 upwards, we have all those moving averages who kick in, the ones like 20, 50, 100 and 200. What would your serious rally aspiration go to for the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank?
See, 10,840 is where the entire cluster of moving averages is. Once we get past 10,750, which is 200, a lot of stops will get hit. So next 100 points, you will see the Nifty moving much faster than it did in the last couple of days, because now as we move higher, all those guys who are called writers, and there are plenty of them, they will probably move to the side, and those shorts may get covered.
All right, Ashwini, fair point. So what's your disclosure right now?
We have call positions on the Nifty, but important to understand that everything needs to become miniature, because the market range is hardly 250-300 points. So don't overdo anything.
Okay, thank you very much for joining in. Keep your eye on Z Entertainment. It's now down close to about 7%, while the pressure continues on names like Divan Housing.